first riddle to solve in this video is how to turn a hexagon drawing into a cube drawing by just drawing 6 lines. I'll give you 10 seconds to figure out the riddle, and same will go with the other 2 in this video. And if you don't manage to solve a riddle by the time the countdown is over, then don't worry, because at the end of the countdown for each riddle, I will be sharing and explaining the answer to the riddle. Alright, here we go with the first riddle. The 10 seconds begins now. So here's the answer to the riddle if you weren't able to finish solving it at the end of the countdown. So first, draw 2 lines starting from here and here. And make them connect here. Next, go from there and draw a line down and make it connect to this part of the hexagon. All right. Next, draw 2 lines here and here. You could draw the next one starting here, going to there, or here, going to there. It would probably, for some, be easier if you started here, and for others, it would be easier if you started the line here. I'm going to start here. Lastly, for the final line, draw it from either here or here and make it connect to either there if you're starting from here, or here if you're starting from here. I'm going to draw it from right here. And some of you might not notice the illusion of a cube, but some watching this video might notice at least a slight illusion of a cube. This is not the strongest way to make a drawing of a cube. It's not the best way to make the strongest cube drawing illusion. The the way to make the strongest cube drawing illusion is different, but this should still be able to, at least for some, slightly look like a cube. Though if you want to get a better cube drawing illusion, try a different way. Anyways, I'm gonna continue on and explain what the next riddle is. For your next riddle in this video to solve, you have to figure out how to draw a dot and then a circle around the dot without taking your writing utensil off the paper. Alright, here we go. 10 seconds to figure out how to solve it begins now. Yet again, here's the answer if any of you watching this video weren't able to solve the riddle by the time the countdown ended. So, okay, I'm gonna put my dot down. And then I'm going to manipulate the paper itself by using the third dimension to continue drawing on a paper layer one above the one I'm currently on with my writing utensil. And then I go out to here and then back on to the paper layer from the start. And then I just draw the circle around the dot from there. And there you go. How to draw a dot and a circle around it without taking your writing utensil off the piece of paper you're drawing the two things on. Alright. It's time for me to explain the next riddle. For the final riddle, you're going to figure out how to draw a line on both sides of a piece of paper without taking your writing utensil off the piece of paper. Now, for this riddle, you've got two tools that you can use to make it easier. But you have to know the right way to use them in order to make the riddle easier. those tools you can use are a roll of tape and a pair of scissors. All right. It's time for the 10 seconds. Just like all the other riddles in this video, here's the answer for anyone who couldn't finish solving the riddle at the end of the 10-second countdown. So, all right, here it goes. So, take your pair of scissors and cut a strip off your piece of paper. Next, take your roll of tape and get a piece of tape from it. You're gonna need 2 pieces. And there's multiple ways you could use to separate a piece of tape from a roll of tape. The way I like to use is a pair of scissors. Set your piece of tape down. Yes, have it rest somewhere, but make sure only a little bit of it is sticking at where it's resting, because you're going to need the rest of that sticky power. And now, take your paper strip, turn it into a paper circle strip. Then take the piece of tape and add it to one side. All right, now take a second piece of tape and add it to the other side at the same spot where the other piece of tape is, except on the other side. Oh wait, hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I almost forgot the most important thing to this. You have to, after turning the strip into a paper strip circle, then do one twist to either end of the strip, and then add the tape. You're definitely going to need 2 hands with this because you need to try to keep the twist going while getting your tape and putting it on. Let me see if I can find that area of the tape roll. Okay, I found it. All right. That's one piece. And now for the other piece. All right, there you go. So, as you can see, I've created a special pattern or shape, you could say. This is a pattern, aka shape, called a Mobius strip. This is a really weird shape / pattern. It exists in 2.5 dimensions and only has one side. That's how, so that allows you to draw a line on both sides without taking your writing utensil off it, because it's only one side. Here, watch. Though it might be difficult to draw over the tape, I'll try my best. All right, that's the best I can do over the tape. Drawing over the tape is going to be the hardest part of making your line. All right. The rest of this line should be pretty easy. Well, a little easier, because it is a complex pattern okay. All right. Yeah, it can be a little complex and you might accidentally, without being aware, take your writing utensil off. Just know that when you go to draw your line. That way you don't make the same mistake that you just saw me make. Since it's a complex pattern, the complexity of the pattern might make you accidentally take the writing utensil off without noticing, or and also it will make it so that you'll likely come out with a really ugly line, but it will be on both sides. And you'll end up making folds that you'll have to then unfold. As you can see, here's one here. I'll say one thing I said before one more time. Due to how complex the pattern is, you'll most likely end up accidentally, without even trying, taking the writing utensil off. So you'll have to, so your hand muscles and hand joints will have to be really great at writing. And you'll most likely still come out with a really ugly line, but at least it will be on both sides. All right, and voila, a line on both sides of a piece of paper without taking your writing utensil off. Though, I'll say one last piece of advice. In order to make sure you don't have those moments where you accidentally take your writing utensil off, you should have your hand muscles and hand joints should be pretty good at writing. That's a really good way to make sure you don't have a lot of those moments where you accidentally, without trying, end up taking the utensil off. But either way, the line is on this side, and I'll flip it, and it's on this side. That is the magic of the Mobius strip. A 2.5 dimensional one-side pattern / shape that allows you to draw a line on both sides of paper without needing to take your writing utensil off, if your hand muscles and hand joints are good at writing. Because as you saw with me, I had a lot of those moments where I accidentally, without trying, took the writing utensil off, because it's a complex pattern. I know I've said it a lot, but if you look at it, you'll probably be able to understand why it's a complex pattern. Anyways, okay, that will do it for today's riddle video. This is the first YouTube riddle video I've ever made in my life. And sorry for taking a lot longer to show and explain the answer of this riddle. But it's kind of a little bit physical due to the complexity of the pattern. And I just, right before starting the video, forgot. But anyways, that will wrap up today's video. I will see you on the next amazing video on my YouTube channel.